This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead on Netflix. Plus, Marvel releases its first teaser trailer for the Eternals movie. AT&T is done being in show business. Amazon might buy MGM Studios and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, May 24th, 2021.
Oh, hi, I didn't hear you come in. This is Ross Marquand from The Walking Dead, and you're listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. Now, if somebody could please explain to me what a geek boner is, my life would be complete. Until then, rock on, nation.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we heard it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we heard it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Yes, what's up, listener? Hello, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the nerd.
And joining us is Rob Zombie's distant cousin, Rugberto Zombino. We call him Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
I'm the undead. I don't know. I have nothing to say.
You're the only clean-shaven Rob Zombie family member. I can see the resemblance.
I'm the undead white puppet without dreadlocks.
You smell like you're undead, that's for sure.
I think Rob Zombie would get canceled for his dreads these days, wouldn't he?
You can't have dreads. No, I don't know. It's part of his horror shtick.
Can a white metal dude have dreads now? We don't know.
Modest Yahoo did it. It was fine. He did.
He got rid of his too.
Yeah, he did. He shaved. He got rid of the whole shtick.
I mean, that guy from fucking Counting Crows he was on Joe Rogan.
Adam Duritz had
he's unrecognizable
dreads.
now.
Yeah, no, I get mistaken for Adam Duritz all the time.
Oh, really?
I should start a Counting Crows cover band.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways, but that's not happening. Let's get to the news, you bastards.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
Round here.
Yeah, edit that whole bit so it sounds better. It's terrible open.
I will not.
Okay, fuck you.
Look, I want to get some reactions on some big trailers that dropped this past week. Let's start with the one that dropped today. Disney dropped the first official teaser trailer for the Eternals movie.
Geek boner.
We saw a couple of clips in the little sizzle reel, but now a whole 2-minute teaser trailer featuring expansive, wide landscape, sweeping shots over water and mountains and lots of cool open areas. And you get to see the characters and their suits and their powers. Anthony, what did you make of Chloe Zhao's vision here? This is definitely a Chloe Zhao looking movie from this trailer.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I mean, in terms of the visuals, it definitely looks, as we kind of mentioned before, it kind of looks like Nomadland in terms of just the landscapes and the sweeping shots and all that. Very Nomadland-esque. First off, I did like the trailer just because I'm familiar with Chloe Zhao. I'm familiar with a lot of these actresses and actors. I do question, though, if you were most people don't know about Eternals, but like if you didn't really know that this had Chloe Zhao, this trailer doesn't really give you a ton in terms of what's happening. It's just kind of a lot of like sweeping things, and then there's a little reminder at the end, other than the Marvel tag in the beginning, there's a little reminder at the end with the Avengers joke that this is part of the universe. But other than that, it doesn't give you much to chew on in terms of what this movie is. Really?
No, they're still keeping it under wraps. You get to see costumes. Hey, there's some powers. There's some good-looking people. Ruggs, we talked about how she uses a lot of in-camera shots here, right? And Kevin Feige was, that it's shot in the beginning with where the spaceship shows up in front of Early Man. That's an in-camera effect. That's how good she is. She got an actual spaceship. That's not a special effect.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
lame.
That's a bad joke. What did you think? What did you make of seeing Kumail Nanjiani and other people?
Oh, I love
There's some
seeing
other
Kumail
people.
Nanjiani, especially. That's all I watched this for.
Yes, they said the
I
only
was like
person
Imran.
in this. Yeah.
I was sitting there waiting for Kumail Nanjiani to flex his biceps, and I just got hopped a huge rod.
Eats more Kumail.
Yeah. I got my Kumail rod all up and ready at attention. I mean, there's obviously great, Jesus Christ, I can't think.
Use your words.
Cinematography. Yeah, there's great cinematography going on with these panoramas and everything.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate, and the fact that it's in camera is great. And I feel like it gives it a naturalness that is kind of cool, and especially in this story, you feel like the story's about humanity because they've been here since the beginning, or towards the beginning or whatever, and been there all along, as they say in the trailer. But if you're a fan of the Eternals and you're a fan of Jack Kirby and all of his batshit crazy designs and stuff, you're gonna find it a little bit lacking because the stuff that Jack Kirby did was just so like iconic and like it stood out. And there is a little bit of that.
There's hints of that. Yes,
there is like Angelina Jolie's character is that golden character, but I think they're holding a lot back, and we're gonna get to see some of that stuff hopefully. But we'll see. I'm kind of like excited for the level of a director that we're getting with this film. I'm excited that there's a star-studded cast. I'm excited that Kumail Nanjiani has abs and biceps.
Got an 8-pack.
I'm excited for it all. Let's see what happens.
I am excited for all those things as well, and the costumes look good, and you see powers. At the same time, I was just kind of, I'm like in between this.
Geek boner.
Floppy job.
I'm like in between, I'm like, oh, okay. They held a lot, but you do get the sense of these people have been living amongst men for thousands of years, and while they said we don't interfere, it seems like they've helped here and there, guided people. So they were here during Infinity War and Endgame, and they were just watching where they blipped.
Yeah, what about the Holocaust?
Yeah, none of that. None of that brought you
jump
out.
in?
No, they're not jumping in then. Nothing brought them out until now. Apparently, they come out and they know that Steve Rogers and Iron Man are gone. And you don't really get a look at the bad guys still. There's a little shot of Kumail like sliding under a creature. Maybe that's a deviant, and then there's like those people with guns.
I just picture Kumail like during the Holocaust going, should we jump in? Let's make this one out.
Let's see how this plays out.
The whole premise was that they've just been watching.
Yeah, they've just been hanging out.
Yeah,
They've been here watching the whole
Let's
thing.
see how this plays out. Let's wait till the next one.
So the Thanos event wasn't a big enough event for them to get involved. That's all. This is going to be bigger.
Half the universe getting fucked up. Nope.
Don't worry about that. Go back to your Bollywood career. It's fine.
You know what? It's fine if it's in the movie, but you don't want to put that on your trailer?
What happens?
I just think that's just like, now you got a bunch of idiots like us, like honed in on this big tagline that you have. So I thought that was a little bit.
I mean, it's cool. You see them starting to set up Cersei and how, and Richard Madden is Icarus, and how maybe he's not the leader we all think he is, and their relationship. And then there's a shot, you see them like throughout the years hugging, and then you see her with Jon Snow,
Geek boner,
as Dane Whitman, who will, I don't know, does he become Black Knight? I'm dying to see what the Black Knight will look like. He's a human, but what's his deal? Lot of questions, lot of teasing. So I don't know. The end button joke it was all right. It was kind of funny. I don't know. It was all right.
It was just to remind you.
Yeah. Oh, there's comedy. This is a Marvel movie.
Not only that, this is part of Marvel.
Yes.
This has something to do with everything else because
you're probably
again, you don't really know what this is.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, I have said before that I do like that Phase 4 is a bunch of stuff that I really don't have any attachment to, so I can just go in blind and not give a shit if they change things because I don't care.
Exactly. And the diversity here is amazing. You got Don Lee as Gilgamesh. You got Brian Tyree Henry, who we just saw in Godzilla vs. Kong, and a horrible part that should have just not been in the movie. Now he gets to do something substantial. He's creating shit with magic or whatever the fuck he's doing. The one girl's reading books fast. All very interesting things. So it's a good tease. It's a good teaser trailer. Listener, Let us know. Did you get Geek Boner?
Geek Boner.
Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. It's an exclusive closed group just for you. We are all in there. You get to meet our listeners, hang out with each other. Welcome this week, Sean King.
Jock and Nerd.
Join the group. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining the nonsense there. Have fun. It's a wild ride. Strap in. Hold on. You'll be fine.
Sean King is he's the civil rights activist.
What is he? All hail
There is a
Sean
Sean
King.
King.
There's a Sean King. It's a great name.
That he's a civil rights activist that I believe, don't quote me on this, is actually a white guy, but passes off for a black guy.
He's that guy. That's Sean.
Well, you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Here's
If you're that guy.
Here's the thing. That Sean is spelled differently. He spells
Yes,
it
it's spelled
S-H-A-U-N.
differently for sure.
Our Sean King, S-E-A-N. He's much better Sean King.
I like to pronounce it Cian King.
Sean King. Why isn't it pronounced Cian? Sean, tell us
I'm
that.
not saying that the other Sean King is a bad guy. I'm just saying that there's some controversy around him. He does try to do some. It seems like his heart's in the right place, though. He is helping out people.
He has good intentions.
Then we have Scene King,
Sing King Kong. Sean King Kong joining the Facebook group.
Welcome, Sean. Scene King.
Cian. That's you got to give it the right pronunciation,
Sean.
ethnic pronunciation.
Well,
Seon.
maybe Seon King likes G.I. Joe, and maybe he likes this next trailer. This dropped last week. It's the first teaser for Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins with Henry Golding playing Snake Eyes in a prequel that seems to show you how he becomes a ninja. Now, Ruggs, let's start with you. I'm not hot on any of the G.I. Joe movies that have come out. I don't think I've watched all of any of them because they have not gotten it right.
Right.
This one, though, you got a bunch of katana blades, a bunch of ninjas, about a bunch of martial arts. What'd you think? It looks a little generic to me, personally.
I mean, Ray Park is in a corner crying somewhere.
Yeah,
He's
why isn't he have this role? What the fuck?
Well, you know,
shit. That's
a good
Snake
point.
Eyes, for a while, for a long time, has been a white dude with blonde hair and blue eyes. And this is like, you know, it's like kind of like the Iron Fist thing. You know, you get a chance to correct something that's wrong. And now you have, you know, is it a fully Asian character or whatever? And I feel like, I don't know if it's generic, but it's because I mean, we've seen tons of you know, martial arts films, right? So it's gotta rise above that. But I feel like at least it's a high production value, which looks good. And it feels like that they have a really cool costume. You see Scarlet and you see Jinx in the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
So they're definitely pulling from G.I. Joe lore. It looks like it's pretty serious. It didn't break into stupidity or comedy at any point.
No, there's no jokes.
So
it's all very serious.
I feel like they're trying to give it its due. And let's see what happens. Snake Eyes is something that, for the most part, like, we only see him in this suit for the most part. We don't really see him without the mask.
You never see his face.
So it'd be interesting to see. I mean, we do know the story from like G.I. Joe comics and stuff like that.
Right.
But we usually see him in the suit. So,
Anthony, what did you make of this martial arts in this trailer here?
It looks good. I am not the G.I. Joe person at all. I don't really think I played with G.I. Joe toys all that much as a kid. Maybe a little bit, but it wasn't like something I had a big attachment to.
Man.
Anything like military, I just wasn't.
Yeah.
Just never really clicked with me as a kid. So I never clicked with G.I. Joe.
Guns? Did you play with guns or water guns? Did you like guns when you were growing up?
Yeah, guns are cool. But
interesting.
I never associated it with G.I. Joe.
Okay.
I was just like, oh, guns.
Yeah.
I liked the first G.I. Joe, even though it was campy as hell.
Yeah.
With Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
I never saw the one with The Rock.
Yeah.
This one, Henry Golding as Snake Eyes. I
Crazy Rich
like
Asians.
you guys mentioned. I always imagine. I never really imagined what Snake Eyes looked like underneath.
Right.
I think in the last two G.I. Joes, he was a white guy.
Yep.
It was definitely played by a
Ray
white
Park,
guy.
right? Right.
Yes.
But I don't know if they revealed that he was a white guy.
no, they didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, actually, no, they did.
They did, right? Yeah.
And because they did the origin story and you saw that he was this white kid that got taken in by a family that was taught, and then the brother got jealous, and that's how Storm Shadow, he's like, you're the white guy that kind of infiltrated my family, and I fucking hate you, and I want to kill you.
Gotcha.
And you have that was the dichotomy there. So
do we know what's canon? What is he?
It's close to that.
He's supposed to be a white guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the comics, first, this is what I'm saying. Like, he was always in that mask all the time. Like, I mean, in the figure, you didn't have another version.
That was the beauty of him, kind of like a Boba Fett. It was the mystery. He could be anybody. Yeah, you didn't know who he was.
When the comics came out, they revealed that he was this guy with a scarred face,
right. I remember that in the comics. Those comics were great. All I know is, dude, I had mad amounts of G.I. Joe toys growing up and Star Wars. Actually, I was back at my mom's house clearing out some boxes, and I came across a box with a bunch of G.I. Joe figures. Fucking Serpentor was in there, and Zartan and Zorana. Now, when I was a kid, the two highest prized figures everybody wanted was Snake Eyes and Storm
all-black
Shadow.
Snake Eyes.
All-black Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, the two ninjas, because you just wanted the ninjas to have the ninja fight, and they had a history together, and people would steal those from each other. Like, those two were the hot items. I couldn't find my Snake Eyes, though. I don't know what happened to it, but I found a bunch of my
I would
old
always
G.I. Joe
pretend
toys.
Firefly was Storm Shadow.
Oh, okay, that works. Storm Shadow is all white, though.
So I'm just reading that this film's a reboot. I didn't realize if it was like a prequel.
I thought it was
not.
a prequel, so they're rebooting the whole thing, huh? Okay.
That's what it says in Wikipedia.
You know what? I love the character of Snake Eyes, but this just looks a little generic.
Floppy jock.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna agree. I didn't really. Nothing really about this caught my eye. I've seen a lot of ninja movies. I've seen a lot of big blockbusters. I've seen G.I. Joe movies. It doesn't look bad. It just kind of looks. It just kind of exists. And I don't really know if I buy
It just looks like
Henry
a martial
Golding.
arts film that we've seen 1,000
Yeah,
times.
it looks
right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I buy Henry Golding in that role, but maybe
We'll see.
I mean,
yeah, that's a good point
see.
too. That's a good point.
Well, the great thing about Snake Eyes is you put the mask on and the stuntman does it all.
The stuntman, but he looked like he was doing a lot of those moves, and they didn't look half bad with the double katanas. Just imagine him as Leonardo from the Turtles doing all that, slicing people up. Okay, let's move on to the other big news last week regarding AT&T and their property, Warner Brothers, Warner Media. This was crazy. In a deal approximated to be about $43 billion, AT&T has announced the merger of Warner Media and Discovery.
Oh, shit.
They are basically spinning off Warner Media, which is everything, HBO Max, Warner Brothers, DC Comics, CNN, and going to merge it with the Discovery Plus network. And the CEO of Discovery, David Zaslav, will be the CEO of this as yet named one company, or maybe it's two companies. That's yet to be decided. But this is crazy news because it's bad for their business, but it's great for the consumer, meaning us. Little backstory, if you guys don't remember, in 2018, the government finally cleared AT&T's acquisition of Warner Media. They paid about $85 billion, okay? So AT&T pays $85 billion to get Warner Media. They do successfully launch HBO Max. Wasn't bad. It's a strong service. Then they go on and they announce their day and date release thing for all of this year, which kind of blew up in their face.
Yeah, they got lawsuits and shit.
Because they didn't tell a lot of the studios and companies they were doing this. So for them to turn around and in less than 5 years sell off fucking Warner Media for $45 billion, to me, seems like AT&T finally just went, oh, fuck, you know what? We make phones. Maybe we should just stick to phones.
Oh, shit.
And not, they're a telecom company. Anthony, what do you make of this business?
I mean, this is crazy.
It's nuts.
But this is kind of what the landscape is, right? Like everyone's trying to figure out this streaming thing and get on board. And obviously, as you mentioned, AT&T acquired Time Warner, and then obviously now is selling that portion of their business because they just don't they just figured this is a lot harder than we wanted.
think, yes.
We figured this was a lot harder than we anticipated.
Yes.
We're not this company, so we're not going to be this conglomerate that does all sorts of things. Warner Media and now being run under Discovery. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Lots of different facets of content there.
Or you can have some fun crossovers.
Curious to see, what they decide to do with their two streamers. I don't think this is going to be finalized until 2022.
It's probably
right?
going to take a while. The government's going to have to approve it, and
and I think not till 2022, but it'll be interesting to see. Like, I know HBO Max kind of got off to a rough start. I think they're picking up a little bit of steam. Discovery Plus is doing okay, but it's pretty niche.
they have
in terms of the
15
streamers.
million subscribers, Discovery Plus, as of April. So it's not huge.
It'll be curious to see if they do a combine or if they do the Disney route of a bundle. Where Disney does ESPN Plus, Hulu, Disney Plus. So lots of different things, though.
Oh my God.
They have all the different Discovery stuff, all those different kinds of shows, all the different media, CNN.
So
It'll be interesting.
That's the thing, is that if they combine it, this is a group of programming that could rival even the best that Netflix, Disney Plus has to offer, because they have something literally for everyone. They have live sports, they have news, they have scripted, they have reality. This is one of these things each of the other streaming services lack.
And they got Oprah.
And now they get everything. Ruggs, what do you think this means? This is great for us as consumers, I think.
Yeah, I mean, more stuff to the table. Are we going to have to pay for it? That's the question. Is it going to get rolled in, or are we going to have to pay for an additional service? Either way, they have more things at their disposal. They have just more assets. So that's better, I guess. They could probably swap content. Like, I feel like that could be cross-pollination from some
You could do crazy crossovers. Like, somebody on Twitter was like, I can't wait for the Ice Road Truckers Animal Man crossover.
Well, I'm thinking about like Cartoon Network going to HBO Max, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, because
Cinemax
that's a slam
TNT,
dunk.
TBS, and then you have the Food Network, HGTV, TLC, all those unscripted shows that are hugely popular.
Well, they're going to spend too. I was reading the article that I sent you guys. $20 billion, which is
On
rivaling
content.
what Netflix spends. And you're right though. Like, if they were to combine this, on paper, they actually have everything you would want
Hard
in
to
terms
beat.
of like offerings. Like, they can beat Netflix on the live sports and news.
Yep.
Amazon they can beat Disney because it's not all on the same streamer. So it on paper, again, very interesting. I'm curious to see how it all plays out. The whole streaming wars thing for me is very I'm very fascinated.
Oh, it's great, and they just shook it up. But this is like a very public admission of like, you know what, we fucked up. We shouldn't have bought fucking Warner Media to begin with. Sorry, which is crazy for them to do it. Now this rumor popped up.
Well, that's also a good just example of, just because like you're successful in one avenue of business or even a couple different avenues doesn't mean you can acquire something else and then bring that knowledge over and be like, yeah, we can just dominate the world. No, it's just not that easy.
And I don't know why AT&T, thought they make phones that we can be a Hollywood studio and make all these things and do stay in your lane, fuckers. What are you doing?
I think they punched out too quick.
I think you're
5
also.
years?
It wasn't even not even. I'm surprised it was this quick. That's what was the
They
biggest
must have
shock.
been shitting money. They must have been just shitting money out.
Well, there's been a lot of turmoil at Warner Media. People have left. They've been replaced. Those people have left. A lot of fucking infighting, crazy shit.
The headline I'm seeing for AT&T is their deal with Discovery will help reduce debt ahead of a costly 5G build out. So
They have 5G, and when they bought Warner Media initially, they leveraged a lot of debt then that they still have. So the money's wasn't all there.
Yeah, I think it was just them going, this is our bread and butter.
Yeah.
This is what's brought us to the dance.
Yeah. Duh.
The rest of this stuff, we don't know what we're doing, and it's costing us a shit ton of money.
Yep.
Let's just get back to what we know to do.
I think they felt it cost them precious time and money these last few years trying to catch up to 5G and compete with T-Mobile, who's just doing T-Mobile,
I feel like Warner Media is like the Scarlett Johansson of streaming.
Shit. How so?
because you bounce around to all these major players, and then you end up with Colin Jost. Like
I was gonna go like Jennifer Aniston, but that one is better. Yeah, you end up
with Discovery, and it's just weird.
It's the weirdest place for. That's such a good point. It is the weirdest place for Warner Brothers shit to end up with Discovery.
You had she was with like all the fucking major dudes, and then all of a sudden, boom.
And if this new guy running it, the Discovery guy, maybe he knows how to run a fucking thing, unlike the people.
You never know.
HBO Max. So, Ruggs, did you see this rumor, Anthony? I don't know if you saw this. Suddenly, there's a rumor going around that AT&T or Discovery or somebody may want to sell DC Comics off to Marvel or Netflix or whoever. I saw things on Twitter. Ruggs, you saw something?
Yeah, I saw about DC getting sold off as to make a shit ton of money from Marvel. But I don't think that there's any water to it. It's just a rumor right now. Just like there's no proof at all. That's just some rumor bullshit.
That'd be one of those where, I mean, obviously I'd be ecstatic, but it's one of those I'd have to believe it when I see it type
But
thing.
look at it from their point of view. This DC Comics publishing is this dangling thing that really doesn't bring in a lot of money. Costs a lot of money to make.
What about the IP for all the movies?
You keep the IP. I don't know.
Oh, they want to sell just the
comics, DC. But then you wouldn't keep the comic IP, would you? You'd have Marvel. I don't know. Disney would have to make the movies.
You'd have to license that. I don't know how that works.
The thing about comics is that they're deader than they've ever been.
Yes.
Like
nobody
they're
wants the comic book company.
Comics are like completely dead. So it doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah, to sell the comic book, I don't know what kind of value. You want the whole IP if you buy DC. You want to be able to make the toys.
You want to be and the movies,
the video games. You want to make the movies, the TV shows. As you mentioned, the comics. That's the last thing you want to make
Marvel
with any of that
just
IP.
Closed their digital comics,
right?
Fucking
Isn't that
thing.
crazy? No, yeah.
That's how bad it is.
What the comics have become is it's just writers. It's for writers to get build up their name a little bit.
That's true.
But it's mostly for them to basically test drive all the ideas that they can then make into movies.
Yeah, but who's reading this still? That's the thing.
It doesn't matter. They write enough of it where it's like, these script writers can borrow from all these ideas and make a quicker script. I'm sure that's probably not the entire intent, but that would be the way I would use it, is just have the writers make comics and then the script writers look at it and go, okay, that's a great idea. We're going to make a movie now.
I mean, that's what they've been doing, but I mean, that's all it is now. It used to be more than that, but now.
Absolutely. That's basically what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's been reduced to just that.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Because you look at the quick turnaround on Miss Marvel. How long is that?
That came out 2014.
And stuff. The Hawkeye, Matt Fraction stuff.
It's all 2000 stuff. Yeah.
That Matt Fraction stuff was 2010.
The Vision comic book too was also in the 2010s.
They're already mining from the 2010s.
That's true.
So they need more.
I mean, the stream
Spider-Verse Into the Spider-Verse was mined from
that was the 2000s.
Recently. Yeah. Not even you keep saying 2000. All this stuff was like
maybe
2010s.
It was later. Yeah, it was 2010s. 2000 was a long time ago.
We were buying comics in 2011, 12.
Oh, and it was happening. Yeah,
and that was already
happening. Yeah. It didn't take long.
They're already past the 2000s. 2000s was like House of M.
Yeah, I mean, look at stuff now. They move quicker on
Civil War is way done.
They did Age of Ultron the same year. They did Age of Ultron, and it was like a whole different story. But remember, they had the Age of Ultron series. Anyways, this fucking merger is wild streaming news, and the streaming wars continue. Follow-up story. Amazon reportedly was weeks into negotiations to buy MGM Studios for about $9 billion.
Oh, shit.
Now, MGM is one of the original 4 studios that started Hollywood. And if they buy...
That fucking tiger in the beginning of every
the
MGM
lion,
movie.
with RKO, Warner...
Lion, sorry.
It was RKO, MGM, and Warner Brothers, and I forgot who the 4th one was. But if they buy MGM, that means they own the James Bonds... They own, what else do they own? They own
I'll read it. James Bond,
RoboCops,
RoboCop, Rocky, Creed, Pink Panther, movies such as Silence of the Lambs, Magnificent Seven, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. TV includes Stargates, Vikings, Fargo, Handmaid's Tale, Condor, American Gladiators, Teen Wolf, In the Heat of the Night. And then also your favorite show, The Voice, Imran,
Yeah.
Survivor,
Oh, shit,
Shark
that's
Tank,
MGM.
Housewives, The Hills.
So imagine Amazon gets all 17,000 episodes of programming and 4,000 extra films by buying MGM, and now they can make movies through MGM.
And now no one can find them on their app because the app is so terrible on Amazon.
Yeah, then they're going to get buried.
Well, the thing about Amazon for the longest time is like they really don't have. First off, you go on there and it's confusing as fuck. To even not even on the app, but just on the actual TV.
Yeah.
And then they don't really have something other than some of their original programming that you can like anchor to. Like, what are they known for? They don't have a backlog of stuff that's people want to watch. And MGM would finally give them that piece.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to watch the James Bonds? You got to go to Amazon Prime.
Well, and then you also have not only the James Bonds, but then you have the ability to make more.
Yeah.
Like they finally have franchises that they don't have to create out of thin air.
And this is actually kind of a small price tag. We were talking about
It's
40,
nothing.
$50 billion mergers.
It's
$9
nothing.
billion for a whole studio.
Bezos
It's nothing.
shits that in the morning.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
how much he
nothing.
doesn't pay in taxes for half a week. That motherfucker.
Like Bezos is like the richest dude ever. He can afford to pay this.
Yes.
And he can pay to get the fucking the app to be better. Like why
I don't know
can't
why
you
they
just
don't do that. I mean, they're spending $500 million on Lord of the Rings one season. Why can't you make the app better, fucking Bezos? So they said Amazon is currently 200 million Prime members. Jeff Bezos has told investors that 175 million of those streamed video content in the past year. Not bad numbers, but then they want to get bigger. So everything's merging, everything's consolidating. People are buying everybody else out. Be on the lookout for more of this.
The only one that's like it's been recently in the news, but they haven't committed themselves to anything for a long term is Sony. They're like the whore that's just like
Sony's like we
"All right, well,
yes.
we'll be with you for a little bit, then we'll be
No,
with you.
they're smart. They're like, we'll just sell our shit to all you fuckers that think you could start a thing. Because nobody
Yeah.
else is doing that now. Everybody's
They're
locking
not
it
gonna
down.
marry some fucking anchor on a comedy
No.
show.
Well,
They're gonna look around and shop around.
they're
know?
kind of smart because nobody else is doing that. Everybody else wants their own little walled off fucking paywall thing.
Well, let's just real
Yeah.
quick. We don't have to dive too deep into it, but let's say all these things go through. Would you have a favorite just on paper
Fuck.
amongst all the big ones?
I mean, I think, man, I don't know. With the addition of content to HBO Max and Amazon, those two suddenly are a little more exciting in terms of
Keep in mind though,
things.
Disney they haven't really done a lot, but they have like their Fox stuff, they have their Disney stuff.
Yeah.
You have to think of Disney though as a bundle.
And Hulu.
It's-
And you got to kind of think
I
of Hulu.
watch
Hulu.
Disney the least.
Yeah.
Like when I watch Disney the least. I think I watch Amazon more than I watch Disney.
Do you watch Hulu at all?
I do watch Hulu, but not as much as I watch Amazon and HBO Max.
Gotcha.
So this week, out of the stuff I watched more stuff on HBO Max than anything else. Thought that was
Yeah,
interesting.
I don't have a loyalty.
Yeah.
I just watch
you go
whatever.
where it is. You go where the shit
Go
is.
where- yeah, you just go where it is.
Me too. I mean, if I hear there's a really good movie on a thing, I'm like, I'm gonna go find this movie. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So as long as I can get to it, but it's just this is just gonna make it harder to figure out to navigate before they start bundling things and clean it up a little. Because wow, this will be a mess.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a fight for a little bit, and we'll see what shakes out.
It's exciting, and I think ultimately the consumers should benefit because there's just going to be there's already so much shit to watch, as we will get into. A little bit of casting news, Ruggs. You'll like this one.
Okay.
Henry Cavill, who won't be Superman anymore and will be The Witcher again. He is cast. He's going to star in the Highlander reboot.
Oh,
I
shit.
love this. I love this casting.
And it's from
great.
Chad Stahelski of the John Wick fame.
Geek
Even
boner.
better.
Hopefully this shit is fucking awesome because he's already got sword training from
Yep.
The Witcher. So he's already dialed in. He's perfect for the role. I mean, he's fucking a leading man who's fucking, buff and everything and has charisma. So fuck it. Like, let's do this shit. Let's fucking make the Highlander and let's like achieve glory here because I love fucking the whole concept of Highlander. The first movie's such a fucking wacky movie.
Anthony, you ever seen Highlander?
It's on Amazon right now.
I don't think I've seen it in full. No, I
The
definitely
first one stars Christopher Lambert, Sean Connery, and
It's a
Clancy
great,
Brown.
terrible movie.
Explain the concept, Ruggs. There can be only one.
There can be only one. That's all you need to know. I mean,
That's it.
basically, there are the Highlanders. They're immortals,
Yeah.
and they're born, and they sense each other, and they seek each other out to kill each other.
Yes.
And then when you kill them, you absorb all of their power and all of their knowledge.
Yeah.
And
yeah. It's pretty
and
cool.
And then basically they have a gathering, and at the end of it, there can be only one. So the great thing about the Highlander is that the bad guy is badass, is the Kurgan. And the Kurgan is fucking a great bad guy. So like you don't watch the Highlander for Christopher Lambert because he sucks. All right, you watch the Highlander for fucking the Kurgan, who is Clancy Brown and fucking
Clancy
badass.
Brown in 86. He's amazing.
He's got a fucking mohawk. He's scary. He's ugly. He fucking is just, and he's just so fucking intimidating.
There was 3 sequels and like a bunch of TV shows. USA had a TV
Every
show for a
movie
while.
after that is just unwatchable.
Yeah, the first
TV
one is
show-
the best. Don't watch any of
The
the other
TV
ones.
show is not bad, like, but I mean, it's so dated, but
Yeah.
like, it's for its time, it was fine.
I think I caught some of the TV show as a kid.
Yeah.
But I do remember, not vividly, but I do feel like I have a passing memory of being in Blockbuster, walking by like the VHS tapes that were for rent and seeing Highlander,
All the
and going-
Highlanders.
and just going,
What is this?
no, that doesn't look good. I don't know why. I'm like 11 years old, but I don't think
I'll
this is gonna
admit,
be good.
it took me a while to actually watch the movie, and then I was like, holy shit, this is great. Why didn't somebody tell me to watch this
Sean
earlier?
Connery is in it.
Yes, the great Sean Connery.
He slummed it big time for that movie. But if you ever want to listen to a fucking hilarious podcast, I now make a recommendation of a podcast on our podcast.
Yeah.
But We Hate Movies, the Highlander episode, that We Hate Movies podcast,
Yeah.
the Highlander episode. All they do is make fun of Sean Connery and Christopher Lambert the
I
whole
gotta
for
check
2
that out.
hours.
That's amazing.
And I was fucking, I had to almost change my fucking pants at one point. 'Cause I was just laughing my fucking balls off.
I hope this is good for Cavill. Anthony, what do you think about this? Cavill is trying to be like a franchise guy, but he hasn't really hit. Like, I feel bad. Superman kind of taken away from him. He would have done great. It got all fucked up. He is in the Mission Impossible movie. He had a pretty good role in that. He's the Witcher, which people seem to like. And then there's Enola Holmes, where he plays Sherlock on Netflix. But like, I want one of these things to hit, and Highlander could be the franchise that makes it.
Well, it's
big.
not, I mean, being
No, come on.
No?
Connor McLeod is not as much cloud as Superman. I mean, I think
know,
even
but
The
you
Witcher is
can't-
even more cooler than that.
All right.
Yeah,
you
I
have a
don't.
point.
I as much as enthusiasm as you might have for something, I don't think the Highlander is the one that's going to be like his defining.
It all depends on how good this movie is, because this is Chad
That's true.
Stahelski or
Yeah,
Chad Stahelski. I can't say
The
his name right.
Helsky could have crazy action.
Maybe. I feel like The Witcher is already really popular.
Yeah, The
for
Witcher
him.
is good for him. I just,
And just the fact that he's a quote unquote failed Superman.
I
is
know.
already
Do you
like
think
a lot for him.
once in a while he's just filming something and he's just like, I could have been fucking Superman. What happened? God
Yeah,
damn
but
it.
Superman's not as cool as fucking Highlander.
That's what I'm saying. Highlander is
and
cool.
he's also, I think Ben Affleck gets a lot more flack for being a failed Batman.
That's true. It wasn't his
Like,
fault.
it-
This is the thing.
It was neither of their
No,
faults,
that's true.
really.
That's
but
true. That's true. No, I think he's great for this, especially because of the sword training he already has. You need that, and the concept is sick.
I've been waiting for this movie to get off the ground. I've been wanting a Highlander reboot, like a fresh start with like a fucking talented director. I'm fucking so ready for this. You never hear me excited about anything.
Listen, in
Well,
a
this is one of
Hollywood
these
where they
things.
don't do original things, yeah, do a Highlander. What are you waiting for? Let's do
This was like a movie that was done in a bad way that could be done in a great way.
Yeah.
So it has so much potential.
It has a great premise is the thing. So, and great
Absolutely.
mythology. Listener, visit our TeePublic shop. Maybe you want to buy some merch, a t-shirt or a face mask or a cell phone cover, jockandnerd.com/shop. There are sales all the time. A lot of comfortable clothing, apparel with the Jock and Nerd logo on it to wear. And again, Joe Henry's out there at the skate park wearing a different t-shirt. It's amazing. Jock and Nerd. He's my age. I don't know how he doesn't hurt himself. Okay, last thing in the news is something caught your eye, Anthony, and it's a segment I like to call Bad Photoshop. It's time for Bad Photoshop, everyone. This is always fun. The Flash has put out a new poster of actor Jordan Fisher. They're introducing Bart Allen, who plays Impulse, is it? He's like Barry and Iris' son from the future.
Bart Allen, right?
Bart Allen, yes.
Yeah.
Future son. Anyways, they put out this goofy ass, I don't even know what to call this collage, with a comic accurate suit and the worst fucking airbrushing of a costume. I don't know. And his head looks too big. Anthony, what do you make of this? Why is this goofy?
This is one of the worst I've ever seen.
No.
We make fun of Marvel all the time.
Lame.
And rightly so. But, I mean, this is so awful. I saw this on Instagram. And then I just looked at the comments, and I honestly didn't see one. I scrolled through maybe like 30, 40 comments. There was not one good comment. It was all like, this show has really jumped the shark. What is this? Like nothing good. Like, who let this out? This must be a joke. Like, how does this make it?
The top of the head just looks wrong.
It's so bad. It's the head.
His head is way too big. Something is something.
It's just you can clearly see the head is just not. It doesn't. I mean, they didn't even like try to make it fit the body.
Something's amiss.
I think they're trying to match.
And his head is almost too aerodynamic. Like it's just weird.
It's horrible. It's so bad.
Yeah.
His head shouldn't be that big.
No,
it's just way too big.
It shouldn't be that big and thin.
He looks top heavy. Like he'll fall right over if he stops running. He can't stop running.
Wow.
But
this is crazy.
I mean, it looks like it's for like Nickelodeon. This is
so bad.
It's so
listen,
bad.
It's the 150th episode of The Flash. He's going to premiere, and they were trying to recreate a comic book cover. But can we talk about The Flash for a second? This show needs to be taken out behind the barn and maybe just put to bed.
Oh, shit.
Just shot in the head. I'm still watching it, but I barely watch it. I can't.
Why?
I don't know. I can't finish an episode. Here's what's going on cast-wise. Carlos Valdez, who plays Cisco, and Tom Cavanaugh, who plays Harrison Wells, they had a 7-year contract. Their contracts are done at the end of the season. And then rumor is like Danielle Pennebaker, who plays Caitlin Snow, she's also done. So I am surprised that they're introducing new characters to the show that really needs to just be finished and over now that you have HBO Max and a place where you can spend more money and make it a little more edgy and have better production. The show is so cheap looking this season. It's so dumb. None of the things don't make sense. There's a new guy. They got Chester on the team. I don't even know how he got there.
Well, this is what happens is that as you have a cast and they renegotiate for
it
their
costs
salaries,
more and more money every year.
so you have to pay them more. That means the effects that they get smaller.
And the show looks so
and then the
cheap.
viewership goes down, so then you got less ad revenue coming in. So it's just a slow death that's just really pathetic, and you hate to see it. So they should make the series 5 years max, and then that's too many for fucking
Even
Flash.
that, they need to kill all these shows. Supergirl is ending. Black Lightning canceled. Legends is still on.
I can't believe you're still watching this stuff.
I'll tell you what, though. Superman and Lois, holy shit.
Geek Boner.
This is a good show. It's not like the other CW shows. They clearly have more money. They have more budget, better production.
Well, it's the
More
first
budget?
season.
The first season, they did the first 5 episodes. They took a break. They just came back with episode 6. And that episode was great. It's really good.
I'm going to
Surprisingly,
get around to watching it.
surprisingly good.
I don't know if I could ever get around to watching these shows again. And this is coming from someone that
it's
was
hard.
like die hard into Arrow
I
and
don't
like
blame
Flash
you.
when it first started.
Yeah.
And you made us watch that Crisis, whatever
Yeah,
it was.
the
It was Crisis or
crossovers.
something.
Yeah, Crisis.
And I was like, I had to wait. I was like,
so bad.
it wasn't that long ago that I enjoyed this.
Yeah, isn't
Like,
that
this
weird?
isn't like something where I can like blame on being a child. I was like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Well, when you're starved for something like this and you get it, and Arrow was a good foray into it, you know?
It started great, started
So
dark.
we had this like idea that, finally these shows are going to be good. But then they kind of slipped into this whole formulaic Berlanti-verse that was like, everybody gets a crew, everybody gets a Scooby gang, Everybody has.
It's every show, and nobody's watching
they're all the same.
Batwoman. Nobody's watching any of these shows.
And then you know what you're going to get action-wise. It's always going to be the same, like, boilerplate action. You're not going to get anything that's transcends or, like,
this fucking
whatever.
storyline on The Flash is so dumb. And it's like Caitlin and Killer Frost split, so they're separate bodies. And then the DA tries to sue Killer Frost. And, oh, God, it's just horrible. It needs to go away. Superman and Lois.
You're a sadist.
Superman and Lois, highly recommended. Just keep that one. Fucking kill the rest of them.
Well, that's on HBO Max now.
Superman and Lois?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the CW, or maybe they're on Hulu. I don't know where they are. But it's different. It's a different class than these old CW shows that have run out of money and are too long in the tooth. 5 years ago, this shit was great. You don't need it. Just end it. Okay. Good stuff, gang. We're going to take a break here, play some promos, and we're going to come back and talk about a lot of out of focus, fast moving zombies in slow motion. It's confusing. We'll find out what that's about right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, Peter here from How Do I Jump? We are an independent news, media, and entertainment outlet dedicated to bringing you all that's hot and fresh in the video game world with a definite focus on indie games. Our podcast, The Weekly Jump, rounds up all those gaming headlines and stories into a fun and entertaining hour for your informative enjoyment. Find us on Spreaker, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. For ad-free podcasts and bonus content, head to patreon.com/howdoijump. To learn more, visit howdoijump.com.
Check out what's been going on with the Pop Culture Cosmos Show and the PCC Multiverse.
I see the potential for basically like another Netflix kind of paradigm shift where here comes this other major player. They have a ton of resources. Apple could change the way that entertainment is consumed.
They say it's the only time this year that you'll have stars from each brand battling each other, and we know it's not going to be the case, but they like to say that, and more power to them, I guess.
Well, it's a big first step, bringing all those superheroes together. There were definitely some parts of the movie that I really enjoyed, and then there were some parts that I thought just kind of fell short of expectation.
Part of it has to be something to do with how it's being promoted, and this is a thing where audiences do not agree with critics.
That's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show.
And the PCC Multiverse, every week on Apple Podcasts.
And over a dozen of your favorite streaming and podcasting options.
Doc and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show right now is a great time to join our fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And for little as $3 a month, you will support the show and you get access to a bonus RSS feed that has bonus content. The shows come out early. There's the sports shows, movie reviews, fun little mini shows we've done. There's hundreds of hours of bonus things we've put up there that get unlocked instantly when you sign up at jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Do it now. Let's get into this week's review. It is the brand new zombie movie, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead on Netflix. Here's your spoilers.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Spoiler time. This movie on Rotten Tomatoes, presently sitting at a 70% tomato meter.
Wow.
6.1 out of 10 average rating. So to compare, we know Zack Snyder has made one other zombie movie, Dawn of the Dead, and way back in 2004. Predates like the Walking Dead TV show and everything, right? That one, 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, for whatever it's worth. Army of the Dead, though, cost him $90 million to make, and even though it's a Netflix release, they did release in select theaters a week earlier, May 14th. So he made a couple $100,000 there. But really, that was it was neat they did that. I don't know why they wanted to do that, just to get it in theaters.
I think people can enjoy it in the theater.
I think this movie would be great on a big screen. Absolutely. The movie, of course, directed by, story by, screenplay written by, with others, produced by. He's also the director of photography and the camera operator. Your boy, Zack Snyder, did all those things on this movie. So he is very involved. This is his baby. This is his project. Anthony, what happens in this fucking long 2.5 hour zombie movie?
Oh, geez.
A lot.
A lot, and then not a lot.
And nuts. Right.
So there's this payload that the military is escorting that no one knows what's in the payload, and they get into an accident, and there happens to be like a zombie alien, I would say. Some sort of like zombie alien, maybe biological weapon type thing.
Something yes.
escapes into Las Vegas. It does the whole zombie shtick where it bites people. The people become zombies that get infected. And it takes over Las Vegas, and Las Vegas becomes a quarantine zone, or zone that just no one can invade anymore. No one can be living in anymore, and it's just been blocked off. And there's people that have been living outside of the quarantine zone, and Dave Bautista's character is a mercenary that did really well getting out of this zombie land in Vegas, and he's hired by a Japanese guy, Hiroyuki Sanada's character, to basically get $50 million or $250 million, something like that.
$200 million.
$200 million out of a casino that is unaccounted for, and he can split it with whoever is on his team. So basically, this is a movie about Dave Bautista getting a team of people to go back into the zombie land that's like, no can do, you shouldn't be here. Get the money out before a nuke gets dropped on Vegas.
Yeah, before they nuke Vegas.
And then there's a side storyline with Dave and his estranged daughter. So yeah, it's a heist zombie up against the clock type movie.
Yeah, with a ticking clock, absolutely. Before I find out what you thought, let's highlight the cast real quick. You mentioned Dave Bautista playing Scott Ward, Ella Purnell playing his daughter Kate. You have Omari Hardwick as Vanderho, Anna de la Reguera as Maria Cruz, Theo Rossi as asshole Bert Cummings, Matthias Schweighofer as Dieter. I think that's how you pronounce it. There's 2 dots over the O. Schweighofer.
Good German name.
Great German name. You got Nora Arnezadar as Lily the Coyote, Hiroki Sanada as Bly Tanaka, who we just saw in Mortal Kombat. Garrett Dillahunt as Martin, Tig Notaro as Marianne Peters. Oh, we will get to her in a second and who she replaced. Raul Castillo as Guzman, Huma Qureshi as Gita, Samantha Wynn as Chambers, and then you got the people playing the zombies.
Did you say Paz Vega?
Wait, who did Paz Vega play? Where is it?
Oh shit. Maybe I got the wrong person. Who played the main girl? Was that
Ella Purnell, the daughter?
No, the other, the girl that he hires that's the mechanic or whatever.
Tignataro.
Marianne Peters, Tignataro, not the helicopter pilot.
I thought that was Paz Vega.
No, there's no Paz Vega in this. There is a Matthias Schweighofer and a Hiroyuki Sanada.
Are you serious? Let me look at this.
I don't know who the fuck Paz Vega is. What are you talking about? Okay, Anthony, anyways, what did you think of this zombie fest once it was over?
Okay. Anna de la Reguera.
That said Anna de la Reguera played Maria.
Paz Vega.
Sorry, Paz Vega, you didn't get this role.
Oh, by the way, my reaction was bleh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it was...
Hold on, I'm going to give you a picture of Paz Vega and tell me that you don't think this is the fucking same person.
Let's see what Paz Vega looks like.
I just put it in the notes.
Paz Vega. Oh, my God, it looks just like that girl.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, it does. She
doesn't look like Tignataro.
Not Tignataro. She looks like Anna de la Reguera, who also looked like Vasquez from Aliens. We'll get into that. Okay. Paz Vega is known for movies like, she was in Spanglish with Adam Sandler. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get off Paz Vega. We spent a lot of time on.
I don't know if you want to get off Paz Vega. You see these pictures?
Oh shit.
Okay.
Yeah, this movie was. It's not very offensive, so there's that.
Yeah.
But it's not really. I just never was really all that riveted by what was on screen. I didn't find it to be like. I didn't know really what I should be feeling. I wasn't particularly scared of the zombies. I wasn't particularly all that enamored by what the storyline was, really. Because I didn't really care about a lot of the humans. I didn't find it like exceptionally funny. I didn't find it to be like super viscerally entertaining in terms of the action. So it just was kind of like, it just seemed like a very long, okay zombie movie that we've seen in other variations before.
Yeah, he adds a couple of things.
And there's
to
a couple
the
different
zombies.
things. Like the zombies having like these smart zombies that are like kind of like in this. Like I felt like they were like alien type zombies.
Okay,
and
that's
stuff,
interesting.
But
You
that was
said
interesting.
alien.
But
Okay.
there wasn't really. I don't know. I just never was really grabbed by the movie. Again, it wasn't like offensive, other than like maybe some of the musical cues that he had.
Yeah.
But it just was like, oh, like this was
just there.
That was it. That
It's very
was it?
Zack
I just
Snyder.
expected to feel more from a Zack Snyder zombie movie.
Interesting, Ruggs. What'd you make of this movie coming out of it?
I mean, the entire like plot of this movie is ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous
and so stupid.
And unnecessary things in it.
Like, okay,
Lots of
so let's just iron some things out right away. All right, first of all, you have an outbreak that happens in Las Vegas, right? And all the zombies just stay put where they are while they're meticulously like locking them in
While
with
they wall
fucking
them in, yeah.
While they wall them in, and they don't, and this wall that they put up is easily scalable. Like I could climb it, and I'm a fucking weakling.
It's just shipping
All right?
containers.
Yeah, again, they're meant to be climbed.
Yeah, the logistics of that didn't make any sense.
That number one. So right there off the top of the bat is that. Then the mission,
Yeah.
where you got to send these guys on this ruse to go after this fucking money, so that one guy can get the head of the person. It's the first person they see that literally when they walk in.
Yeah, just get it and leave.
They could
What
have
are you
just
doing?
chopped that person's head off and come right back in and not have to do anything. It's such a dumb. The whole concept is beyond stupid.
Well, also, you like they planted seeds, like so everyone's getting paid different amounts, right?
Yeah,
so you're
yeah,
going,
yeah.
Okay, this is going to be like a screw job thing where they're each going to like find out who's making what, and I'm
Right.
like, oh fuck you, like I'm going to get more of the cut.
Yeah.
and they do none of that.
That's what that was running through my head the whole time. I was like, 200 million sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not a lot of money for what he wants them to do. And then after you've
Well,
told
come on, it
everyone,
is a lot of
it's a lot of money, but after you've told everyone the amounts they're making and then they see the money, wouldn't you be like, hold on, what the fuck? I'm only getting 50 grand for this. Who's making all this money? And to carry out that amount of money, that's a lot of labor. Like it just, the whole thing doesn't seem practical. But of course we find out, that wasn't about the money.
Right.
Which is
what was
whatever.
the deal? I was also very confused on the whole like quarantine zone that people were living outside of Vegas, and then why the French lady was bringing people in. Like, what was the deal with that?
Because they could crack open safes and grab money.
Oh, okay.
Or crack open there's all that money
'cause
just
it's
sitting
Vegas.
there.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, so
But
they
what
could
was the
buy
deal
their
with
way
the
out.
quarantine zone? Why were people living there?
I think there's three things that he touches on that are like kind of topical, but he
Kind of
never.
like the COVID thing.
Yes, he never fleshes them out. There's the temperature check. That's a brief thing. There's the quarantine. And then the coyote is.
Why are those people in the quarantine? I want to understand. Why
I don't know.
they're there.
Maybe they didn't make it out of.
But they're out of
they're-
Vegas.
But are they infected?
I think that they might have marks on them that they don't know.
Oh, they got to check if they weren't bit or whatever.
If they were bit or not. They have injuries and they can't tell like if they're bit or not.
Mm.
So maybe they have to sit in the quarantine zone. But I still think it's ridiculous. The quarantine zone is right there.
I know you're gonna get. They all got nuked anyways. But the coyote, I think, was a thing about like building the wall at the Mexican border. But it's like none of it is fleshed out. It's just like throwaway things.
And then like it just the coyote thing, like
she was great, by the way. One of my favorite characters.
She was all right.
Lily
I
the coyote.
honestly, I didn't find anyone other than
Really?
actually the German guy to be all that great.
Peter was great too.
That didn't make sense either. They need to be like smuggled in, right, by the coyote, but they all just like show up to the camp. There's like a group of 10 mercenaries showing up, and then they just get Theo Rossi to join them. It's like, did you need to be snuck? Like,
They just walked in.
They just walked in, yeah.
So
Like,
she
They
does.
just walked into her apartment and she has a door that goes back into the fucking. It's like it's just beyond stupid.
She does have
Like,
that line though, where she's like, "You think this is their prison? They consider this their kingdom. So maybe they didn't want to expand, and they control. They like living in this area. And but I don't know what the zombies wanted.
Then there's some zombies that don't move; they just sit there.
Well, there was that whole scene with the sleeping shambler zombies, which was that had some tension. There, I'll agree with a lot of what you guys said. It's an okay zombie flick. There was a lot of neat things that I liked, but overall, the whole thing. Of course, there's 100-minute movie in there that's probably way better.
Well, just the sheer stupidity of the movie is number one.
Yeah.
Then you have the fact that it's too long.
Yeah, it's way too long.
All right. Now, we acknowledge both of those things. Did I enjoy aspects of it? I loved the opening with Richard Cheese.
I want to talk about the opening credits. Yeah.
I love Richard Cheese.
Who's Richard Cheese? He's the guy singing that song.
Richard Cheese is the guy. He's a lounge singer.
Yeah.
And he does lounge versions of... Can you look up Richard Cheese, Down with the Sickness?
He does Down with the Sickness, which he used in Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
He does a lot of covers of like 90s alt songs, and his band is called Lounge Against the Machine.
Yeah.
As opposed to Rage Against the Machine.
He does like all of these songs, especially rap songs, where like a lot of cursing, but he sings it in the lounge man's voice, and it's fucking hilarious.
And the movie is full of Zack Snyder music choices, like really weird cover songs. And then, of course, he has to use
Very
Zombie
spot-on
by
stuff.
Cranberries, right? The same fucking song, Zombie. Of course, you're going to use Zombie
Well,
by
there was a
Cranberries.
song in the beginning, or like one point where it's like All Alone or like One by One or something. Like he's musical cues because I had the captions on.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're so
they're singing
too
what's
on the
happening.
nose. Yeah.
They're singing
there
what's
was
happening.
there was a bunch of people criticizing him for using Zombie because it's about the IRA or
Right. It's not about zombies, Zack Snyder. They're not that literal. They're a little smarter than you, the Cranberries.
But to be fair, they use that song in like every 90s TV show.
Yeah, I guess they
And
did.
every 90s movie. Like, you know, it's,
The opening sequence was crazy because he shows you the zombie war that we never find out about. And there's a reason he's setting things up. But all this shit happens. He uses the opening montage, typical Zack Snyder montage, lots of slow motion, but he uses it to set up the characters, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then to open with topless zombie boobies. I mean, come on.
Geek boner.
That's a good open right there.
there's things in this movie that made me
I was like,
laugh.
oh, I never saw that.
There were
before.
things where I was like, hey, this is fun.
Easy
And
peasy
I-
lemon squeezy. That was
I
kind
did
of
like
fun.
a lot of little things, but when you look at the sheer amount, it's like almost like Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
Where it's just so ridiculously stupid that you can't ignore it. You have to acknowledge the stupidity, and then you go, oh yes, but I enjoyed this. And that's how I feel about this movie. It's like the only difference is that this movie punished me with a half hour too long of a movie.
There's a lot of
So
Zack
if it was a little bit
indulgence.
shorter,
Yeah.
I would be a lot more kind of forgiving of it.
Yeah.
Because I did enjoy lots of aspects of it. I felt this one it dragged more than like the 4-hour version of fucking
It did. It felt
Justice
longer
League.
than Justice League.
Because there was this like plot point with his daughter that was completely useless, and with Gita, or
Yes.
whatever her name
Yeah.
is.
No, I'm all for having
Which one was
Indian-
Gita? The one where he falls in love with the girl?
No, Gita was the girl that the daughter was looking for, and
Oh,
she
yeah,
was in
yeah.
the
That was
building.
dumb. That
And
was
you
really
know
dumb.
what? She fucking died anyways at the end, I think, in the helicopter with Peters.
This is my favorite part about that. Like everything in this movie is stupid. Like
everybody
okay,
dies,
so
except for two people.
Gita and Oliver and her two friends are like locked up in this room waiting for the evil zombie to come get them. And then the head zombie calls the troops out, and they all storm the other casino.
Right, they go over there.
Why are they just standing there? They
Just
could leave.
Yes, they all left. They don't know. I don't know.
Well, also, they like the whole scene where Dave Bautista and Paz Vega, and, like she admits her feelings for him, and it's just
Yeah.
like, where did this come from?
Yeah, that was something they didn't really set
for
up.
me. I mean, I first off, I think I like Godzilla vs. Kong way better. Obviously, I think it's a much more memorable movie. I don't think I'll think about this movie ever again. It's literally. There's nothing to me that was like super memorable. Like I've seen plenty of things where zombies are getting mowed down by a bunch of people. Like what? I just didn't see, like all his new ideas were like kind of half baked. He didn't really execute on anything. Like he had some like all these little tidbits of like good ideas, like combining a heist movie with a zombie movie. Maybe the zombies are smart. Maybe like there's obviously the corporation wants to get the alien zombies, like get their head to study them, like they're a nuclear weapon. Then you got the like little storyline with the father-daughter, but like nothing. Like, what is this movie really?
It's not about
hanging its hat
anything.
on?
No, there's no like message, and that's how I felt too. I was like, wait a minute, what was this about?
I don't even necessarily
What was the
need a
point of all
message.
this?
I don't
What
need
was
a
the
message.
point?
I'm just more like, what do you want me to remember?
There was no
about this?
point. Everybody dies except for Kate and Tanaka. There's a lot of similarities to the Aliens, the movie Aliens in this, but it's not done as well, obviously.
Well, I mean, where's the tension? I mean, because you have a ticking clock, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then, first off, you have a ticking clock, but they introduce the ticking clock
like halfway
in the
movie.
last
Yeah.
third of the movie,
And then it gets moved up.
and it's supposed to be like an hour, and they go through that super quick.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the whole ticking clock thing could have been like in Aliens, the ticking clock was like used to perfection.
Yeah.
But like this
Yep,
is just
yep,
like,
yep.
I don't know. Like, do I even care if they get nuked?
Nuke
Like,
them all.
whatever.
Fuck them. Nuke Vegas. Well, let me ask you, Anthony, what'd you think of the visuals of, you are the only one that's familiar with Vegas. And they spent a lot of time digitally recreating Vegas for this movie and destroying it. I thought that it looked good, the effects.
You know what? To be honest, it looked okay.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna put zombies in Vegas,
Yeah.
there better be a lot more scenes where it looks like fucking Vegas.
The Vegas was already destroyed. They had a whole
Yeah.
war. It's all done. They already fucking blew the
The
place
only
up.
stuff that felt like Vegas was when they had turned on the lights in the casino. But
casino,
everything else,
yeah.
the scene in the vault, the scene with the zombies hanging out, the dilapidated Olympus, like none of that was really like Vegas scenery.
Interesting.
I don't know. It just was looking.
He tried
I don't know,
hard.
it
Yeah,
didn't look great.
why said it there? He tried hard.
Why set it there and then
Yeah.
destroy Vegas in the first 2 minutes and
Yeah.
then not have it be really in Vegas. And then you had it in fake hotels. Olympus is not a hotel.
That's not a hotel.
No.
And the other one wasn't. But yeah, they show you a whole zombie war. We don't get to see any of it.
One more thing.
Yeah.
That fucking tiger looked awful.
Okay, so look here. Well, let's get back to the zombies. There was a couple of like new things. So CGI, that was CGI. Zombie tiger CGI didn't look
Terrible.
the greatest.
Looked terrible.
The zombie horse was actually a fucking practical horse wearing a goddamn zombie suit.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it looked fine.
Looked a little bit better. Now you have the shamblers.
But we've seen Game of Thrones with zombie horses.
Oh fuck! We did see the what?
That's
the
right.
ice,
It was better.
Ice Knight, the ice giant guy, had the fucking zombie horses. Those were great. That's true.
Yeah, like think about like Hard Home.
Yeah, that was
when
great.
that
Yeah.
scene where they're killing, like that's way better.
Yeah.
And that's just with swords. You had like guys with machine guns,
With machine
and
guns
bombs.
mowing everybody down. So they have the shamblers, which are your normal zombies. You got to have headshots, take them down. They bite you. They make more zombies. They're slow, but then the alphas trying to be a new thing. They're smarter. They're faster. They're organized. They can use weapons. They have feelings. They can accept human sacrifices and make deals. They can communicate with the other zombies. They can wear armor to protect themselves. And then if alpha bites you, you become an alpha. Now, the craziest thing is they can have babies. What the fuck is going on? I did not. There were some weird things. There was a couple of weird things. There was the baby thing. Did you notice one of the zombies was a fucking robot?
I didn't know if that was a robot or was just that blue blood that looked.
No, not that. There was another one. Clearly, he shoots him in the head, and you see a metal frame, a metal robot head, as if the government was experimenting with robot zombies, and it broke loose. Also, in the beginning, they're coming from Area 51, and you see 2 UFOs in the distance fly off. So then, wait, and then there's more, because Vanderhoof introduces the time loop theory in the middle of the movie where he finds these people, and she's wearing the same necklace with the key that the girl is, and he's like, what if we're in a time loop? So he throws out aliens, time loop, and fucking all this shit, and never does anything with it,
Yeah.
really.
That's just some hacky shit.
What is all
Yeah,
this?
the time loop thing was such a like. Well, why even do that?
It's just a wink and a nod. But
Yeah,
like,
but why is there a baby? Why is there a zombie fetus? What is the point of this?
I don't know. I think that's to illustrate that they're different than
They're
regular
different,
zombies.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. It's not what we think zombies are.
Yeah, I mean, he did a decent. Like, I was kind of intrigued with like it being a different kind of zombie, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was all that. I don't feel like it was all that memorable. In hindsight.
My thing is that if they would have cut this movie a little bit better and they would have thought about a little bit more about this whole thing about getting the fucking zombie head, and that's what the whole point of it was. I feel like that kind of ruined the movie for me. That like, so you have this guy go into this huge mission where you could easily capture a zombie. That's not even a problem. It's like, it's not even a hard thing to do.
Well, I mean, the queen zombie was, she was fast, but he got her anyways. That guy had the best death, though. The fucking tiger bit his head off, bit his face off.
Right.
That was fantastic.
I mean, there was some gory ass stuff when, especially even that beginning opening that was done to the music was great. I thought that's one of my favorite parts of the movie
is the opening montage,
and that they show you the characters and they're standing in front of like the fucking the gray screen, but you can clearly see the stands, the C stands behind them, and I thought that was pretty cool and cinematic and artsy and shit. And the explosions as the jets come in, there's some cool stuff there. But overall, I thought it was too long and too stupid to really recommend it. I do think that there's some fun to be had by watching it if you're into stuff like this.
There's some decent zombie
It's not a
shit.
good movie by any stretch of the imagination.
I like the scene where they use the zombies to trip the booby traps in the hallway. That was kind of fun.
What did you think of Dave Bautista in a lead role?
Batista,
He was fine.
He was okay. He has this kind of like teddy bear vulnerability about him, and I kind of was drawn to that. He's better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was fine.
Yeah, he
although he seems. I don't know if it was just me that noticed it, but whenever he runs, he seems so slow.
He's heavy, dude. The guy's
He's a
top
big
heavy.
guy.
Jesus, he can't move that fast.
I mean, he's definitely a big guy. He seems so slow. But yeah, I mean, the whole him-daughter thing.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the daughter just like going out and escape. Like it was
it was the stupidest way to get her to go with them with this fucking Gita. Yeah, and then she's got to go, and then you got to go get them, and the fucking. It's a lot, but Batista, I only know him as an actor, and he kind of surprised me. I loved Lily the Coyote. I thought Tig Notaro, she was funny in the scenes she was in, and the circumstances that she had to do. Do you realize every time you see her, that was Chris D'Elia, and every time you see Tig, she had to shoot that scene in front of a green screen after they shot the whole movie. She never met anybody on the cast. And they green screened and recreated things and plopped her in. And some of it is seamless. Some of it looks a little weird. You can tell. Now,
I didn't notice.
You didn't notice at all. Yeah, all of that is added in post. And I
think that one of the reasons why this is my theory. I do think that Zack Snyder used like a 50 millimeter to an 80 millimeter lens.
We can talk about
most
this lens.
of this for the compressed depth of field.
Which is why it's
with
blurry.
a bokeh.
Yes, yeah.
But I think that he used that bokeh a lot of times to mask the CG with
both
Tig Notaro.
Both helped. He didn't. So he chose this lens that was made in Japan in the 70s, and you're right. It's a wide lens. There's no stop, and it's very shallow depth of field. So all the scenes where there's one focal plane, and if you fall out of it, you're going to be out of focus. So a lot of this movie's really soft focus in the background. Yeah, he did that, but that turned out it helped him when he was trying to CGI and fake Tig Notaro back in, because if you notice a lot of her shots, she is surrounded by really soft focus and she's in the background. But I thought he spent a lot of money and it was a pretty seamless job. Like, I don't think you can tell if you never read about the stuff that was going on.
It really doesn't matter because none of that stuff makes or breaks the movie. It's not like a freaking Henry Cavill's mustache.
I like Dieter. Dieter's character is interesting. And Vanderho, the little relationship they had, which was they just became friends all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, they had like a little bond where they
did
like
have a
hated,
bond.
He hated him, and then he respected him by the end, and then he saved the nerdy guy. Saves him.
Dieter sacrifices himself. He has got to teach him how to shoot and stuff.
Snyder also doesn't like. He doesn't really know how to end movies.
No, let's talk about the ending, right? So everybody, there's a helicopter thing. They go to the other helicopter. The Zeus, the king zombie, jumps on. They fucking kill him. They crash. Scott Ward gets bit. So Kate has to shoot her dad, and Peters is dead. And you don't actually see Gita's body, but I think she's dead. So everybody dies, and then it cuts to Vanderoe, who somehow, locked in the vault, survived a nuclear fucking blast right above him.
He didn't cook.
No, and came right out. Nothing's radiated. Has a shit ton of money. Gets on a plane.
Yeah, when he came out, I'm like, he's definitely like exposing himself to high levels of nuclear
how is
radiation.
he not dead walking?
Whatever.
Anyways, he buys a plane, goes to Mexico City, and it ends with him not feeling well, realizing he's been bit. Now, they just nuked Vegas. I think in the sequel, he could possibly be the new Alpha. He also has an Omega tattoo on him, meaning the last zombie, Alpha Omega. So he's going to turn and spread it, and so the zombies are still out there, even though they fucking killed everyone.
Well, they're not going to do a sequel.
Oh, they're not. They're doing prequels. We'll get into that.
With Dieter.
But they could do sequels. They could do sequels about what happens.
We've seen. I mean, what kind of franchises? I don't even know what like.
They're all in.
What do I care about
Anthony,
this?
Would you be surprised that it's gotten great reviews from a lot of reviewers?
They're all in.
I was actually very surprised to see the reviews being overly positive. Again, I wasn't overly offended by the movie. Like Zack Snyder has made terrible movies that have like he didn't really go for it in this movie in terms of like trying to say something or make a statement or impart some sort of style. He just kind of went half-assed like 17 ideas.
At the end, I was literally like, what was the point of all this, really? Like, you just fucking
I
killed
just think it
everybody.
was an entertainment film.
It was.
And if I'm going to judge it on that merit alone, I think it's you can be stupid and entertaining, but don't be long.
Yeah,
right.
That's the only
Keep
thing.
it brief.
Yeah, you got to let's
90
be in and
to
out.
100 minutes.
We could have cut at least a fucking half hour of this film.
We
no
didn't
problem.
we didn't need the whole like sacrifice scene with Theo Rossi's character. We didn't need the side plot with the daughter and her saving the other friend. Like there's so many things that were so drawn out.
Yeah, it was just overly dumb and overly long, and those two things. You can have a dumb movie as long as it's really, really entertaining and keeps your focus and keeps attention. And what happened is you had a dumb movie that had a lot of stuff going for it, but then all of a sudden went on this side track thing, and all of a sudden it loses steam, and then you're like, hey, and you're like, well, now I can't. Now I notice that you're fucking. This is too stupid. And now I notice that you're fucking. None of this shit that you're setting up is panning out. And you're just fucking pulling my dick.
They're just
like half
throwing
this
shit
movie.
out. I mean, I thought the zombies looked good. Like I thought the some of the way it was shot was cool.
There's stuff that looks amazing in it, Imran.
Yeah.
There's stuff that looks really well. They fucking spent $90 million on this movie, and it looks like it up on screen. I can imagine seeing it on a big screen. It's fucking probably crazy to look at, but you know, there's things that he's gotta fucking learn to cut something every once in a while.
Also, like when you say the zombies looked really good, I don't disagree, but again, we've lived through now the past like 5 to 10 years of zombie culture with Walking Dead and Game of Thrones and all the other zombie movies that have been, and they all look just as good.
Yeah,
so
that's a
you're
good
not
point.
doing anything new by making zombies look really good.
But I think Netflix though again is all in the Zack Snyder business. They're not going to tell him to cut shit. They're going to let him do whatever he wants. Anthony, you were talking about what's next. They have
He clearly can't write a fucking movie.
no. He had help on this. Maybe he needs more help.
This and Sucker Punch are his
This
babies.
is better.
They're both
it's better
terrible.
than Sucker Punch.
His fingerprints are. I mean, he directed it. He produced it. He wrote some of the screenplay. He
filmed
did the
it.
story.
He held the camera.
He did the cinematography. Like this is all him, and it's just insanely mediocre and too long.
It is. So what's next? This is how all in they're in. They have a live action prequel movie that is already finished shooting. It's called Army of Thieves. This one is directed and starring Matthias Schweigerhofer. Dieter. It's about Dieter, made by Dieter, about how he became a safecracker earlier. It's going to come out later this year. And then they're doing an anime-style animated series called Army of the Dead Lost Vegas, featuring the voices of a lot of the cast in the early phases of the zombie outbreak. That's probably where you find out more about the relationship between Scott and the girl, Maria, who just unceremoniously gets her head snapped all the way around. I was like, shit. She just told you she still loves you, and the dude comes and just turns her neck around. That was hilarious. Unintentionally fucking funny.
It might have been intentional.
It was intentional. Also, I watched, there's a 30-minute documentary called Creating the Army of the Dead on Netflix. Shows you a lot of the computer effects, the technical stuff, the practical effects they did for the movie. That was kind of interesting. If you want to
I'll
check
say
that.
this: Army of the Thieves as a prequel, might not have anything to do with zombies, and it might actually be pretty good. That might be an interesting thing, just like a prequel that has really nothing to do,
right?
Other than the one character, like not at all in the same tone.
I like Dieter. I wouldn't mind a story about the coyote, Lily the coyote. She was fucking badass. She had a great accent.
I didn't really find her to be that interesting.
I thought she was interesting. Okay, let's rate the fucking movie, Anthony. Give me a number. And
5.
Okay. 5.
I had this right away.
There we go.
What I saw.
Moving on. Rugs, give me a number.
Did you want me to rank it or something?
Yeah,
What were you
well,
gonna say?
have you seen Army of the Dead? You haven't seen that first one. I haven't seen it in a while.
Army of the Dead? We just watched it.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
No, I haven't seen
Or if you had to rank it amongst other Zack Snyder movies.
It's better than... Fuck, I don't know.
Sucker Punch.
It's better than Sucker Punch.
Because that's his other original like story movie, really.
That's the unintelligible.
Yeah.
I can't tell what the fuck.
But I mean, I would say it's in the middle, but I don't think it's. I don't know. I think it's like
hard.
I think it's better than Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
I think it's better in that it's not offensive like Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
It's maybe like a Man of Steel.
Okay.
Watch. I don't know. Nothing he does really impresses me.
It's so hard.
Other than 300, I haven't really been impressed by the entirety of a film that he's done.
I was kind
300 and then his Snyder cut.
I was impressed by Justice
there were
League a
impressive
little
moments in the
bit.
Snyder cut.
Yeah. Okay, all right, fair enough. Rugs, give me a number.
Well, I think Zack Snyder, there is a good filmmaker in there somewhere because there are some interesting choices that he makes. And I feel like he does think about what he wants to do. It's just nobody understands what the fuck he's where his head's at.
Yeah.
He just makes choices that no one can understand. But barring that, the dude fucking needs to learn how to edit himself, like just a little bit.
Yeah.
That would help fucking tremendously. And he needs to stop thinking that he's fucking smart because he's not. But I'm going to give this a 6. I feel like I don't hate it as much as Anthony does.
Yeah.
I think
I wouldn't say I hate it. I like it.
I think that it's not as mediocre as it in certain aspects as we kind of want it to be. Overall, it's disappointing because of the fact that he didn't edit himself and he just allowed it to be too stupid. Like the script could have been 10 times smarter, and like you said, they could have been people double crossing each other. They could have expanded on some of this zombie stuff, done a little bit more with it. And, it just was overly dumb. And so that's it.
Okay. I mean, I agree with all that. And at the end of the day, it is a zombie movie and he does kind of deliver zombie things. I'm going to give it a 6.5. I think Dawn of the Dead, I haven't seen that in years, but I don't think this is as good as Dawn of the Dead. I still think that movie is a little bit better. But I'm in for these prequels and these other things. Some of the characters were intriguing. I wouldn't mind seeing them pop up or seeing their, well, obviously before, since everyone fucking dies.
He just needs someone to write him a good script.
Just be the director of photography, and that's it, Zach. And the visual effects supervisor, let somebody else write the shit.
And
he
someone to just edit him.
He should be a director of photography because he's great at that.
That's the best thing he's at.
And I actually didn't mind him using that narrow depth of field. I think it gave him a certain style.
Yeah,
a certain kind of language that he's using, but like there was no rhyme or reason to why he was doing.
He said he liked this lens and he's going to use it. I was going to ask, did it bother you? Because a lot of people on the internet were like, "Why is this movie so fucking blurry everywhere?"
He didn't use it all the time. He just used it in certain moments.
Used it
I don't
lot.
know why he used it in those moments.
I would say he used it like 40% of the time, if not half.
For me,
the time.
it actually, I wasn't offended. It just seemed like he was using it to create like a dreary lens to like what was going on.
Like just
everything
add
was
style to everything.
It's just a stylistic choice. That's what it's used for. But again, it did help him when he had to fucking green screen Tig Notaro back in there. So luckily, everything's soft. So you smush it and it looks good. Okay, good stuff. Let's do some news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
That one was musical. It's nice. Got some comments here from our listeners about Army of the Dead. Blake Braden says, I always enjoy watching someone's jaw get ripped off within the first 5 minutes. Yeah, it's a plus. He also pointed out how the movie is very similar to 2004's Dawn of the Dead, like plot points and beat by beat. And Kind of the same movie, Ruggs. Would you agree?
Not the same movie, but very similar. Yeah.
Very similar. J.B. Robinson, Mr. Throwback Thursday, said this movie could have been 83 minutes long and just as good. That is correct, sir.
Yeah. 2 hours at max.
83 is a very specific number. I think that works. Joe Henry says, Army of the Dead drinking game. You have to drink every time a character pauses for exposition when they're still in imminent danger. Oh, boy, you'd be drunk. And then also, he just posted a photo of Vasquez from Aliens, which I thought was hilarious. Anthony, did he do this on purpose as an homage? Or just she had the red bandana? She dies a lot like Vasquez dies in Aliens, the Maria in this movie. What's going on here?
So, yeah, it's pretty obvious he was doing a little
doing a little
homage,
a little
Yeah.
tribute.
Yeah.
There, even the plot with the guy who steals the head is like Aliens with Paul Reiser's
absolutely.
character. But Vasquez was like a better fleshed out character. But they did this a lot in this movie where someone is trapped and the other guy's like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to kill you and you take everybody else out. Like they did that four times.
Vasquez had like a whole movie of build up, and was like shown as a badass amongst other men. This lady was like badass, but you didn't really know who the fuck she was.
No, you didn't. I did enjoy though when you thought she was trapped in the door, and then she comes fucking flying out the window, and then they just get her, and then
You know what was funny though in that scene?
Yeah.
Another stupid thing.
Yeah.
She could have easily, like, as she's dying, yelled out, like, "It's that guy that did this."
Oh, right.
right?
She didn't even warn anybody that it was
She didn't warn it, and like, and it was clear, like already, like her friend was already weary too of that
Yes.
guy, and like she jumped out, and like he could have just said something.
He's like, don't trust him. Now kill me.
This movie's so dumb.
Yeah. Jose Ibarra said, I felt a lot of lives could have been saved had Bautista been wearing contact lenses. He was squinting uncomfortably for a good portion of his scenes.
Oh, shit.
He
I
was
can't
squinting
see
a
so
lot.
good.
Yeah, I don't know how he was shooting any zombies. He's just squinty-eyed the whole time.
Because of these contacts, I can't see, goddammit.
I got a cornea and the retina. Oh, my puppy scratched me. I'm going to sue everybody.
I went to the observatory today because of these glasses. I can't see, goddammit.
Dave Bautista played by Saul.
Yeah.
Saul and me. My life.
And he put in, that's fantastic.
My life story with Saul
With Dave-
on Dave,
and Dave
Bautista.
Bautista's body.
He was squinting a lot.
He was squinting all the time.
Maybe he was looking at the lens the camera that Zack
He's
Snyder
like, why is
was using
everything
as
so
well.
blurry, Zach? Is this
What
in
the
focus?
fuck?
Am I in focus? Come on. And then Chris Williams said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Decent zombie flick. See, there's stuff to enjoy.
Yeah,
Stuff to
not
enjoy.
inoffensive.
Yeah.
Well, zombies as a genre are not usually the best made
No,
films.
it's like
They're
it's like
just kinda
Godzilla movie. It's a zombie movie.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing.
Well, that's kind of why I like Walking Dead and Game of Thrones changed the game a little bit, right?
yeah.
They added a little thing
A little
to it.
seriousness, a little mythology.
Right, Walking Dead was more about the humans,
Yeah.
how they interact. Game of Thrones was everything, plus zombies.
Yeah, this one really, again, I was like, what's the point of all this, Zach? Just to kill zombies? Sure. Okay, fine.
He was just, he wanted to make a movie that seemed like it was fun, except he just has a weird concept of how long fun should last.
2.5 hours. It's not how long fun should last. Okay, let's finish up with some what are we watching? I watched a bunch of shit for some reason this week. I don't know what
I
happened.
have one thing that I did watch.
What'd you watch, Rux?
I watched 2 episodes of The One.
Oh, what is that?
The One is a BBC show about what if you can match to your perfect match through DNA. Like you're genetically bound to that person. So in the future, like people are like, all of these housewives and shit are like, oh, my fucking husband sucks. I mean, maybe there's someone better out there for me.
Oh shit!
And they like surreptitiously like send their samples in to see what their DNA matches with.
Yeah,
and it ruins like everybody's marriages and fucking everything. And there's a whole conspiracy behind it. Blah blah blah.
But this is like a reality show.
No, it's a fucking sci-fi show.
Oh, it's a sci-fi. I thought it was a reality show.
It's a reality show.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
No,
like
no.
Love is Blind or some shit. Yeah?
No. It's like it's a sci-fi show. It's a BBC show, and it's just like about if they would have discovered like how to match people with DNA.
I gotcha. Okay.
Is it now almost like that you have no freedom of choice?
Yeah.
Because like your DNA tells you who you're going to be matched with.
Very Black Mirror. I like that.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a very long Black Mirror episode. It doesn't need to be a series.
What is
but
this on?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, it is on Netflix. Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd recommend it. It is like, I feel like you could just do this in one Black Mirror episode and be done with it.
Yeah.
You don't need a whole series behind it, but I guess, I don't know. I stopped
Stretching out
watching
a
it.
Black Mirror concept.
Yeah.
Anthony, did you get time to watch anything? Well, I know you've been going out.
Trying to think if I have. No, I've been going out.
Yeah, you've been doing the real life thing there. Good for you.
Well, not even real life. Yeah, I think I went out Friday, and I still today I'm hurting
Well,
from,
now
that,
you're getting old.
from that night out. In more ways
Yes.
than one. Lots of regret and misery.
Write a movie about it. Okay, here's a bunch of things I watch, and some of these things I recommend, some I don't. I'll save you some time. Let's start with the Netflix. There is a buried movie, a little gem of a movie on there called Oxygen. You're going to have to search for it. It's not going to be presented to you. This is a French science fiction movie. It's all in French, so there's a little bit of reading. But it opens with this woman, and she is in this hyperbaric chamber. And she's in this cocoon. And she claws herself out of the cocoon. The chamber lights up. There's displays and screens, but she's in this box. She doesn't know where she is. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know how she got there, right? There is someone she can talk to. On the top of this chamber is a LED screen with an AI voice that can make outgoing phone calls. So there's some phone calls. She's talking to this AI, and you find out slowly what the fuck is going on. And even though the whole movie takes place in this one box with this lady, there's some like flashbacks. It's really good. I was really surprised. This is a quality sci-fi gem that's buried on Netflix. I would recommend this. Give it a try.
Did we see this movie before
It's
when
similar.
someone was locked in a grave with a cell phone or something? I don't remember.
It's similar to another movie. This was a lot smarter, though, and it has a bunch of twists. It was really good. I was surprised. I had read about this somewhere, and I was like, what is this? So check out Oxygen.
Okay.
Let's move on to HBO Max. I watched a couple of things. Ruggs off air just asked me about this movie. Day and date release, Those Who Wish Me Dead, starring Angelina Jolie, came out in the theaters. Also came out on HBO Max. Also starring John Bernthal is in this. Nicholas Hoult is in this. And Tyler Perry has a small cameo. The movie is about they're called flame jumpers. I think the guys who they parachute into forest fires to take out the forest fires. So Angelina Jolie is one of these people, but it's really not about that. There's these two assassins. There's a murder. There's a kid. They're chasing. He ends up with Angelina Jolie. Blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you one thing. You can pass on this movie. Angelina Jolie really doesn't do much. As just aside from walking back and forth in this forest. In fact, the most badass character in this whole movie is John Bernthal's wife. She's pregnant in the movie. They're survivalists. They teach surviving. She does the most shit out of anybody in this fucking movie. Also, Littlefinger is in this. Aidan Gillen from Game of Thrones. So, yeah, it's not that good.
So no good.
No, I would pass.
No bueno.
Those Who Wish
No
Me
bueno.
Dead.
If Amron doesn't like something, stay away unless it's Kingsman.
It is solidly mediocre unless it's Kingsman. Yeah, no, this movie's solidly mediocre. A movie that's slightly above mediocre, that's old, that I watched on their HBO Max, Greenland. Have you guys seen this? Heard about this? Anybody?
It
I've
sounds
heard of it.
familiar.
I don't really know anything about it other than just hearing the name Greenland.
Came out 2020. Gerard Butler and Morena Baccarin, the lovely Morena Baccarin, is in this. Remember from Gotham? She was Leslie,
yeah.
and she's married to Ben McKenzie. I like Morena Baccarin. Anyways, this one is an apocalyptic movie. There's a asteroid meteor heading towards the planet. It's going to be an extinction level event, and Gerard Butler has to save his family and get to Greenland, where they have invited certain people. Not everyone. Certain people got the invite. So there's a bit of a disaster element. This one's all right. It's a little, it's okay. It's good. There's still a lot of like going back and forth to the same spots and filling time. A little bit better than Those Who Wish Me Dead. I thought it was all right. And then I did watch MODOK. Anybody watch the MODOK on the Hulu?
I have no interest in that.
Okay. I will say both of you are probably not going to like this. So
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing. I found it pretty funny. It's not as good as the Harley Quinn show. Harley Quinn show, they're clearly trying to be the Harley Quinn show. The Harley Quinn show is a little bit edgier, a little bit smarter. This one was funny for what it was. The Robot Chicken style animation serves the purpose. You kind of have to watch the whole season to get like the character arcs. But I don't think Ruggs is going to like it. I know Anthony's not going to fucking care.
Yeah, I have no interest in it. Is anybody in it besides MODOK?
Yeah, well, Tony Stark shows up. Wonder Man shows up. I'll give you a couple of great characters, listener. If you watch this, my favorite characters, his son, Lou. First of all, his family, he's married to a Mexican woman, and he has one like regular human kid, and then a daughter with a big head who's in a floating thing, and they're Jewish. So he has a Mexican Jewish family, which is hilarious. In the trailer, you see that when he accidentally shoots that one guy, AIM guy's arm off, and he's at the coffee machine, and the guy goes, "Oh, I thought this coffee was for everyone. I'm sorry." That guy, his name is Gary. He's a great recurring character. He comes back. He only has one arm. So Lou's great. Gary's great. And then they have a super adaptoid appliance. He's kind of like their family robot that can turn into a TV or the vacuum cleaner or whatever. The fucking adaptoid's hilarious. But yeah, it's a good laugh. It's a good quick watch. They're short half-hour episodes. Harley Quinn's better.
If I get desperate, I'll check it.
Yeah, if you need,
maybe.
It is. Remember, this is the last Marvel Television Studios. It's not part of the MCU. Like I thought, I was wrong. But remember, they were going to do 4 of these. There was going to be a Howard the Duck and a Hit Girl, and then there was going to be Offenders.
And then they were going to do a crossover, right?
None of that shit. All that shit got canceled. This is the only thing left. So I don't even know if this gets a second season. It kind of wraps up nice. It doesn't really need a second season. It's got some heart. I laughed out loud a bunch of times. So for whatever it's worth, I thought it was funny. And I already talked about Superman and Lois. Great show.
It was supposed to be Hit Monkey, Tigra and Dazzler, and Howard the Duck, and then MODOK, and then they were going to be the Offenders.
The Offenders to rip on the Defenders, from which everyone's forgotten that anyway, so there's no point. I'm surprised this one still got made. And then one last thing, CNN has a great documentary series running right now called A Story of Late Night, and it takes you through the creation of late night TV and the birth with Steve Allen and Jack Parr and Jay Leno and Letterman and Conan, and it's really good. And I just remember my college years was when the big deal when Letterman left NBC and went up against Jay Leno in The Tonight Show, and then Conan followed Letterman, and Letterman and Conan fucking ruled.
Oh, shit.
Jay Leno is still, to this day, I don't find funny at all.
Right.
Remember that, Ruggs? Remember how fucking great Letterman and Conan was?
That's a New York show,
yeah,
right?
Both of them.
So, yeah, they were New York shows at the time.
It totally took me back, because then I interned in '96 at Conan O'Brien, but it took me back to those early days. Great documentary series. I love those. I was a David Letterman Conan guy for years.
Isn't it funny how like late nights now are irrelevant?
Now it sucks, dude. Jimmy Fallon.
It's just a bunch of ass kissing.
Yes, Jimmy Kimmel can be funny occasionally. I don't even know who's on CBS. Stephen Colbert. I'm not interested.
I just remember the days. Like I'm old enough to remember Johnny Carson.
Yeah, me too.
And Johnny Carson was
brilliant.
Like, but he was intimidating too, because these comics were like waiting to impress him.
Yep. You had to get to Carson to be a comic.
He wasn't there to kiss your ass.
Yeah.
You were there to kiss his ass.
And remember, if you got called over to the couch, you were like, "Oh shit!"
You're like, "Oh, he's giving me a little bit of shine."
Yeah.
Now everybody gets. You could be like the most lame TV fucking third string person, and they treat you the same as fucking if you were like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. Like you were like. You get treated like Hollywood royalty no matter what.
He was great at spotting talent and making them huge and fucking hilarious. Johnny Carson was fucking brilliant. Jay Leno, this is not funny. Sorry. Still not. This never was funny. I don't know.
Did they talk about Arsenio?
Oh, yeah. They talk about Arsenio. They talk about
Joan Rivers.
They go through the whole Joan Rivers thing, which is heartbreaking, and how and Letterman was promised to show, and Leno, and all of that is heartbreaking, and they screwed over a bunch of people. Then they get into like Jon Stewart and The Daily Show and how it evolved.
I might watch that.
It's very good. Anthony, were you ever a late night talk show guy?
No.
Never, huh?
Never
interested you.
Never a late night. It never appealed to me to watch a late night
interesting.
talk
I love
show.
these. I don't know why. I always love them.
I've never been into really talk shows. Like I've never been the type that like watch someone get interviewed like a celebrity. I've never cared about that.
Well, you watched for the personality. David Letterman would do the most fucked up things on the streets of New York in the show, and it was so funny. He is so funny.
I think it had its time, but now it's become
now
just
it's corporate sponsored bluff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, it always was, but at least it was entertaining. And because at the time, comedy, and the whole entire thing, like Conan was the weird guy.
Yep.
David Letterman was like really the fucking weird.
He was, and he was the anger. He would be antagonizing.
He was like really,
to guests.
he was like really like anti-establishment,
he's
just
great.
like didn't give a fuck type guy. And you had there was some zhuzh to it, and
it's not there anymore. Now the luster is like nobody.
Did you say some jizz to it?
Zhuzh, a little bit of pizzazz.
No, I could care less.
Like
about
Craig
these late
Ferguson used to literally hit on every woman that came on.
There was Craig Kilborn, then there was all these people. And Conan, like, he didn't have any experience. Lauren just was like, I think you could do this, and he threw them on.
Well, he went to Harvard and he
He's
wrote
smart.
on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like he was
So
stupid.
it's a great documentary series if you're into late night TV, which I was back in the 90s. Was fucking fantastic. Not anymore. All right, that's it. Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
On Twitter at ReallyRugBoy. Come by, say hello.
Do that, listener. Thanks for listening. Tell someone about the show. Share the show. Post it. Spread the word. We'd appreciate it. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time. Press the button.
Carpet Lad.
Be more funny.
I fucking loved it.
Carpet Lad. Just want to say that. Now on.
What the fuck is going on here?